Yo guys, what's going on? And welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, dear friends. Welcome back to a video that's talking about Chelsea's new manager, Graham Potter. That's right, Chelsea have canned Thomas Tuchel rather unfairly in many people's eyes, but they're looking to build a new dynasty with their own man in terms of the new ownership, and Graham Potter is seemingly that guy. Long have they been consulting people about who's the new hot up-and-coming coach who would be the most appropriate for them to build long-term for the next 10 years. If you think about it, Chelsea have actually spent loads and loads of money on teenagers and youngsters in this transfer window, as the new ownership in Todd, Boehly and Clearlake want to build for the future in their long-term project. And in the end, despite backing him initially, they don't feel like Thomas Tuchel is the man to take them through to this long-term project. So enter Graham Potter, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll be citing some parts of an article from The Athletic. I will of course link that article down in the description, but this is a good opportunity to ask you guys to subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do so, and should you choose to do so, I recommend you hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Mate, also, could you like the video? It helps me out a lot. Alright then, let's get into it. So we're dipping into an article today by Mark Carey, John Muller and Liam Tharm of The Athletic. They pose the question, would Potter be a good move for Chelsea? Would it be a good move for Potter? Let's break it down with his managerial profile. First, it's worth noting how well Potter has brought on Brighton. This can be shown by 538's respected Soccer Power Index brackets SPI ratings, which estimate a team's overall strength between 0 and 100 using a difficulty-adjusted match metrics and underlying performance metrics to model a team's offensive and defensive strength. Essentially, this SPI model ranking is telling you how good a team is by aggregating everything concerned with the team and what they're doing. Let's find out. When Potter took the reins at the start of the 2019-20 season, Brighton's SPI rating was 64.4, a figure they never dropped below during Potter's 3 full seasons at the club. At present, Brighton boast a SPI rating of 76.3, with a steady incline shown in the overall team strength across his tenure. Slowly but surely, Potter has been building something special at Brighton. Of course, everyone recognises Brighton are a well-run team and actually play pretty entertaining football, and of course, have started this campaign very well indeed. A compliment to Potter's adaptability is how difficult it is to outline how he likes to set up his team. If we were to defer to his most common starting formations, you'd see Potter most frequently use a 3-5-2 last campaign, while also employing a 3-box-3 that has been used in great effect in the early part of this season. Off the bat there's going ding 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 for a Chelsea manager. Of course, Chelsea are very equipped to play a 3-back system with all the players that they've got. They've got loads of centre-backs and they've got wing-backs. Kind of makes sense that Chelsea go for a manager who can play with these kind of players. So, Graham Potter. In essence, the use of the 3-4-3 formation, or variants of it, has parallels with the setup under Tuchel, but to look at starting formations alone would neglect Potter's tactical versatility between and within games. Potter has an evident eye for detail, making tweaks to his side depending on the opponent and the state of the game. One example this season was in Brighton's defeat to Fulham last month. Brighton started with a 3-5-2 without a recognised 9, which clearly wasn't working. So what did he do? He changed to a back 4 within 15 minutes. This is a perfect example of Potter's willingness to adapt and to establish or sustain control of games, whether that is tactical tweaks or substitutions. Look man, this is something that interests me and many football fans. When you see something's not working in a football match with your team, there's nothing worse than perhaps a stubborn manager persisting with it till far too long. It's a refreshing thing to see that a manager goes, actually no, nonsense to this, 15 minutes in, we're changing. Important. Looking at Brighton's style of play, it's well known that Potter likes his team to play possession-based football, dominating the game with clear principles and patterns. This was not immediately apparent when he took the role in 2019, but when he was granted the time to implement his style, you can see that Brighton's patient build-up play in possession was much more similar to teams pushing for European spots last season, notably not a million miles away from Tuchel's Chelsea. The team he inherited from Houghton was a standard low-budget relegation scrap side. They played competent low-block defence with almost no possession or high pressing, surviving on their switch-heavy counter-attacks and set pieces. That changed almost overnight. Starting with their approach in possession, Brighton became perhaps the only Premier League side in the last decade to flip from a long ball side to a modern possession team in consecutive seasons with no middle ground. Basically, he went from Brexit ball to tiki-taka in no time. The Athletic go on to explain here that a big important part of the transition was the goalkeeper. Of course, they had Ryan in goal. That wasn't really much of a sort of ball-playing goalkeeper. And they brought in Sanchez to great effect, which massively helped the implementation of Potter's style at Brighton and has made them a lot better. This reminds me of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City when he immediately, ditched Joe Hart and brought in Bravo. Granted, it didn't work, but he saw off the bat to make this possession football work. Goalkeeper, footballing goalkeeper. Does that mean Graham Potter's going to think Kepa come back out from the cold? Mendy, I'm sorry mate, you've not been good enough with your feet. Just a question to pose to you guys. The newfound confidence in the base of their formation allowed Brighton to recycle the ball safely and build up with intent. In 2021, they were one of the best Premier League sides in the past 5 years at securing possession or successfully moving the ball forward after recovering it. Just as important as the passing game changes was Potter's attentions to Brighton's high press, which went from virtually non-existent to one of the best in the league. Over the past 2 seasons, they've been especially effective at winning the ball back immediately after losing it, the counter-pressing, which has allowed them to start their possessions close to the opponent's goal. Well, we know Thomas Tuchel loved that at Chelsea, the high turnovers, the counter-press. As soon as you lose the ball, win it back. I remember Thomas Tuchel's first post-match press conference after we had that relatively boring 0-0 draw against Wolverhampton Wanderers. The first thing he wanted to praise the Chelsea players was the high turnovers, winning the ball back in the final third. The only section where Potter's Brighton failed to break into the top half of the league was their finishing. Despite their strong possession and pressing, usual hallmarks of a top side, Brighton struggled to turn their attacks into chances and goals. That makes me worry because that does sound very, very Chelsea-ish. That seemed to be changing this season though, as the club's revamped frontline suits 4th in the league for expected goals after the first 6 games. Also, Chelsea do have talented goal-scoring attackers. They are there. Whether they're wing-backs or maybe not midfielders, forwards, they are there to be utilised if perhaps the tactics change. One of the key reasons Chelsea parted with Thomas Tuchel was a lack of improvement across many players within the squad. This is something Potter has not only proved he's capable of doing, but also is a responsibility he thrives on. He provides his squad with more tactical diversity by giving them new roles within the team. When Alexis Mac Allister joined Brighton, he operated as an attacking midfielder who looked to have an effect on the game in advanced areas. This season, Mac Allister has thrived in a deeper role, pulling the strings in Brighton's midfield alongside the destructive Moises Caicedo, whose minutes were carefully managed by Potter when he signed in 2021. The same could be said about Pascal Gross, Adam Lallana, or Marc Cucurella, with whom Potter will be reunited in West London. Potter's ability to reignite the performances of players who might lack a clear role within the side is likely to be music to the ears with many inside the Chelsea squad. And we know as things stand, ladies and gentlemen, that there are plenty of unhappy players in the Chelsea squad. Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, Trevor Chalobah, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, amongst others, have either been unloved, unused, or misunderstood within Tuchel's system. Potter would no doubt embrace the challenge to shape the role of the high-quality players he would have at his disposal. Only part of the discussion is how suitable Potter might be for Chelsea. The other part is how Chelsea would suit Potter. Potter has thrived when given the opportunity to mould a squad into his own identity, most recently at Brighton, but also notably at Swedish club Östersund. While he was in Sweden, Graham Potter was like a god of that club. He built the whole club with his philosophy and ethos, which there's still echoes of now. They sing praises for him glowingly over there. And, you know, he's had all kinds of excellent coaching experience. Not many people know that in 2007, Graham Potter was actually the technical director of the Ghanaian women's national team for the World Cup in China. Incredible cultural experiences for Graham Potter as a footballing man, director, and indeed manager. Would he get the opportunity to have this control at Chelsea? Historically, the answer would be no. One of the key traits of Potter's side that his teams are more than the sum of their parts. Everyone has a job with and without the ball. Individual brilliance should rarely be seen as a negative, but it remains to be seen whether Potter could manage a squad with so many high-profile players. There is only one way to find out. Tricky. The thing is, the aforementioned stated fact of why Tuchel left, like I said at the top of this video, is the new ownership is looking to build a legacy with a new coach, and ultimately they didn't want Tuchel to be that man in the end. They saw a few things, they did some sort of psychological analysis as well as footballing metrics analysis of performances, and they rendered with all the data and the emotions and the feelings and the conversations that it's not going to work. So they would have done a pitch to Potter saying, this is what we want to do long term. You know, they've got the manager of the Dodgers has been there 7 years. He's just signed a new 3-year contract, I believe, taking him to a decade of his managerial tenure of one of their sports teams. They'll be looking to do the same with Graham Potter, with building a team, with building these youngsters, Neil Barr for the academy, all the high profile youngsters they've bought in this summer transfer window. That's their idea. Look, make no bones about it, this would be a huge step up for Graham Potter. A job he couldn't say no to. Will he be able to do it? Will Boehly and Clearlake give him time? Will they accept more difficult performances and results than what Tuchel's been having lately because they have to buy into a long-term project with Graham Potter? We'll have to see. The box office show of Chelsea Football Club does go on in the Premier League. It's certainly uncertain, disappointing with Thomas Tuchel at times, but also exciting as well. So let me know what you think. Comment down below. Please do drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed this content. Enjoy the football. I'll see you very soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.